second. I need to get my story straight. My friends are in the bathroom getting higher than the Empire State. My lover, she's waiting for me just across the bar. My seat's been taken by some sunglasses, asking about a scar. And I know I gave it to you months ago. I know you're trying to forget, but between the drinks and subtle things, the holes in my apologies, you know, I'm trying hard to take it back. So if by the time the bar closes and you feel like falling down, I'll carry you home tonight. I need to get my story straight. My friends are in the bathroom getting higher than the Empire State. My lover, she's waiting for me just across the bar. My seat's been taken by some sunglasses, asking about a scar. And I know I gave it to you months ago. I know you're trying to forget, but between the drinks and subtle things, the holes in my apologies, you know, I'm trying hard to take it back. So if by the time the bar closes and you feel like falling down, I'll carry you home tonight.
What's up, sports fans? It's your favorite two people in the whole wide entire world. You're sitting pretty right now with Dr. Jesse Thomas, and here joining me very soon is my boy, my homie, Mr. J. Valdez. We're coming to you live.
I'm here.
Oh, you here right now?
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah, we hear you now, Mr. Valdez.
Dude, I'm precise with my timing. Even if I have to go and do something that I shouldn't be doing before the show, I'm going to be as precise as possible and be on cue. So I kind of stepped on it, but whatever.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
So, hey now, and shout out to all my puto faces on the East Coast. I'm trying to show the East Coast some more love because I think we're getting a shitload of listeners from there, and we're not showing them any love. So rather than knock people in the South, I'm gonna try and change the show and just be nice to all of our listeners.
You're gonna be nice to everybody.
Everybody. I'm about love.
All coast. No East Coast, West Coast thing?
No bias, no hate. Hey, listen, I love New York. What can I say?
Hey, who doesn't love New York, right? Well, maybe not me because I'm a Bo Sox fan. But I love this city. I love the state of New York.
There we go.
How about that? All right.
I'm right with you right there. Same thing. Much love to everyone in the NYC.
Very nice. Much love out there to the East Coast. All you listeners out there, we love you. I think I actually, I am a little bit biased to the East Coast because I kind of love you guys a little bit more because technically you guys are staying up a lot later to listen to our crap than all the people out here on the West Coast. But it doesn't matter.
That's where the home of your Buffalo Bills are.
That's right. It's the home of the Buffalo Bills. You know what? I'm even going to throw some love out to Canada because Buffalo is right across the way. So,
and our Canadian listeners.
All of our Canadian listeners, if we have any, we love you guys too.
Do you think of all of our listeners, like our worldwide listeners, how many, I'm going to just take a guess. I'm going to assume like the second strongest listening base after America is Canada.
You know what? That'd be my guess. I follow a lot of people on Twitter. A lot of Canadians.
Isn't MMA on the reg from Canada?
No. He is East Coast, though. He's a New Yorker.
All right, perfect.
MMA on the reg's a New Yorker. I don't know what to say. I love the East Coast. And I love everybody out there. I'm just glad that everybody listens. Tonight, we're going to start off. We're going to kick off the show with a little World Series talk because, well, hell, Game 1's going on right now. And last I checked, the Giants, they were up 2-0 off of two Sandoval home runs.
Oh, so Big Panda hit another one.
Big Panda hit another one off Verlander.
Shit, I missed
if that's even possible. I didn't think Verlander was hittable, but apparently he is. If you go by the name
blowing Verlander. We were just blowing Verlander on the last show, and now here he is giving up 2 home runs to the second fattest guy in the league right after Prince Fielder.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Speaking about Prince Fielder, I actually I seen a Twitter pic from Eminem. Eminem posted, because, you know, he's Detroit. He's a Detroitian or Detroit.
I saw this picture that you're talking about.
Did you see that picture? Now, can you not tell me that Prince Fielder, Prince, I know that you got a cool name. Your name's Prince. For gosh sakes, that's a pretty awesome name. But please, God, don't wear that outfit again. I mean...
Dude, when you got money like that, you're just fucking wearing whatever. Like, dude, if I had money like that, I was thinking about this as I was viewing this same picture. This what came in my mind. First of all, if I had a shitload of money, I would have ridiculous ass tattoos. Like, fuck it, why not? You know what I'm saying? Like, I would ink up like my entire knuckles. Like, I would have tattoos on my fucking arms and hands and fucking possibly the neck. Like, why not? Fuck it. I got money.
You know what? I think
nobody can judge me in this motherfucker.
That is the cool thing about being rich. I mean, if you think about it, besides the fact that you have enough money to do everything that you've ever wanted to do in your life, you can also look and talk and just be whatever you want. And who's going to say anything? Who's going to say anything to you? I mean, if you do, if somebody comes up to you and they're like, "Hey, you kind of look queer in that shirt," then pretty soon what's going to happen is I'm going to snap my fingers, and then my 2 gigantic bodyguards are going to smash you.
That's it.
Because I'm rich.
I can just do that.
You can't talk to me like that. So, but anyway.
It's ridiculous, though. Like, so I think, did I describe both things? Oh, one, the ink, and then 2, he I don't know, he's just kind of like his dad. He's just sad. It's funny as fuck, but I mean, he's like his dad.
Cecil was not.
Yeah,
Cecil was not a small man by any means.
Cecil was a fat guy.
He was a fat guy. You know what? And while we're talking about fat guys, I'm going to throw this out there and say much love to all you fatties out there. I love you because
I'm heavy as shit right now.
I am one of you. So I love you guys the most because you have to put up with what I have to put up with every day, which is looking in the mirror and trying to suck it in real deep. And
embarrassing.
It is. But you know what? Speaking about baseball talk, we have a ton of other topics to cover tonight, and we're going to try to hit as much as we can. Plus, we got a couple guys coming on the show to discuss MMA topics with us. But for right now, I'm going to bring on one of my baseball guests, Mr. Norm or Daz. Norm?
You know what's happening, fellas?
It's my baseball. You know what, Norm? I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to start calling you our baseball analyst.
We crowned you.
That is a first.
We crowned you, my friend.
That is a first. Usually I'm the baseball dork, but I will take the analyst.
Look, we're trying to be professional here.
It's the same thing.
So, by the way, 4-0.
It's 4-0 now.
Does anyone look at Peter Gammons and think this dude's cool? 4-0,
and I don't think that the Panda has ever met a buffet that he's stepped away from. Is Sandoval a beast or what? I mean, that guy is huge.
He's bigger in person too, which is scary.
Well, when he played for Salem Kaiser a few years back, I mean, he wasn't that big. But I mean, the guy is him and Prince. You know, I will say that Prince has, one of the coolest names in baseball, definitely.
Oh, for sure. When your name is Prince and you're not just like nickname Prince, you hear a lot of guys, they give themselves really like the coolest nicknames they can think of. But this is his name, it's Prince. And that's pretty damn cool to me. So
hey, by the way, Giants just scored again.
Wow, the Giants they're handling their business.
5-0.
Hey Norm, how many games has this been for the Giants? I know that they were down They were down 3 games to Cincinnati.
They were down 3-0 against Cincinnati, and then they were down 3-1 against the Cards. You know, those guys are professional. I mean, you know, their back is up against the wall, and I'm just watching Zito hit it past Cabrera. I mean, come on, Zito. I mean, these guys are really stepping up for the Giants.
And you're talking now. Barry Zito is a pitcher, and he's hitting balls.
Barry Zito, his fastball tops out at about 84 miles an hour, which is an off-speed pitch, a slow off-speed pitch by Verlander.
Wow.
It's completely throwing the Tigers off.
It is. You know, I think the key to this World Series is getting to the Tigers bullpen, because you got the turd, who I affectionately Valverde, who I affectionately call the turd, who will just, I mean, it's like Bung Young Kim from the Diamondbacks back in 2001. You know, he's a dumpster fire. You put a little gas on it and he'll burn. But yeah, you get into the Tigers bullpen, Tigers are in trouble. And so, you know, it's just a matter of hitting Verlander, which they are, you know, and honestly, if you know, they're at 5-0, bottom of 4 right now against Verlander, this might be the Tigers' swan song. I know Verlander's got another start coming up, but, you know, I really, you know, my heart tells me to go to the Giants, but I honestly my pick was the Tigers in 6 because of Verlander and Fister. But now I'm kind of rethinking that.
Yeah, well, we discussed that on Saturday. That's something that we all mentioned. We saw the Tigers, of the 3 teams that were remaining on Saturday, that the Tigers were the strongest of the 3. And the Giants, they're just scrappy as hell. That's it. They're scrappy as hell. Now, I don't think this game is over when you've got, you know,
they
Cabrera,
are scrappy.
When you've got Cabrera and when you've got somebody that we didn't make fun of. They still got, you know, they can still, you know, rally 4 runs isn't much, especially if it's only goes to the bottom of the 4th, bottom of the 5th.
Oh yeah, the game's far from over.
Yeah, but I mean, early analysis, man. Imagine 4 years ago, 3 years ago, when Giants fans were wanting to kill Tito, wanting to cut him, wanting to just outright get rid of him. They knew he was untradeable because of his enormous contract. What do you think Giants fans are thinking now?
Yeah, I'm not too sure about Zito still, but I'll tell you what, hey, if he keeps stepping up like this, I mean, you got to keep him around.
He's been relatively money in the postseason.
He has been, and you know, you look at where Lincecum is now. You know, I honestly think that Lincecum is injured. I think Lincecum is hurt by watching him. And I don't know him all that well. I've seen him in San Jose. I've seen him in Salem Kaiser. You know, so I've seen him in person, and he's not the Lincecum of old. So I think there's something wrong. I wouldn't be too surprised if somewhere during the off-season.
Do you think it's possibly in between his ears with Lincecum?
It's possible. You know, that and a little too much Moda, you know. But you know, I would. It wouldn't surprise me to see the Giants trade him in the off season after locking up Kane and Bumgarner to big contracts. You know, and it's. I mean, not right now, but looking at the game, but yeah, but you know, the Giants need hitting. They need that big bat in that lineup. They need somebody to. They need a Prince fielder to protect their Cabrera, which is Buster Posey.
They had somebody. He just unfortunately got popped for taking PEDs.
Yeah, that's a whole different story. You know, one of these days I'll call in and we'll talk about PEDs.
Hey, definitely though, what I'd like to get, I mean, just even though we're kind of into the series, like I was picking the Tigers to win this series in 6. And I mean, we still got, you know, X amount of games, but I'm not changing my position because of game, even while the game is playing. I still think the Tigers will win in 6. Jesse, what do you think as far as the World Series goes?
You know what, man? Overall, I really feel that Detroit just has the better team. They have the better hitters. And as much as we've been talking about, you know, is Lincecum going to be the guy he was a few years back? You know what I mean? I seriously think that Detroit still has the overall, they have better everything, pitching staff, hitters. I think Game 1, this could just be all emotion. You know, the Giants just rolled off two straight wins against two really good teams after being down a lot. And now here we are. It could just be a really high emotional point for them, and they're just playing off that emotion. But how much do they really have left in the tank after having to come back both those series against Cincinnati and St. Louis? Sorry. So I don't know. We'll see. I still think that Detroit's going to win this series. My initial pick was most likely I was thinking Detroit in 6. It could go 7 if the Giants just have an outstanding time at home and win all the games that they're supposed to down there in the Bay. But I still think that Detroit's going to pull it off in 6. So.
Well, I'll have to go 6 or 7 because usually the Giants organization, they work like their minor league coaching staff gets to go to games 1 and 2, and then the little peons like me will get tickets to the game like 6 and 7. So, which would be pretty cool. So, now Jay, I don't know where you're at.
I'm in Fresno.
You're in Fresno. Okay,
yeah,
so you know what? The Giants win the series. You're going to see the World Series trophy, man.
I've seen it before, man. You know what? Right here in Fresno, I'm sure you know, they've got the Grizzlies.
Absolutely.
And they bring the World Series trophy up here. So it's actually pretty cool.
Yeah. And, Jesse, if the Giants win it, I will hook you up with tickets when it comes to Salem Kaiser.
Oh,
nice.
Shit. Listen to this.
So I'll make sure you get to see the World Series. Dude, it's pretty cool. You know, in fact, I would love
crazy.
to see all of
It's crazy. You know what? I've never got to see any championship trophy as far as the NFL,
the Stanley Cup,
an NBA trophy. Yeah, I mean, I've actually got to fucking see the World Series trophy, which I thought was cool as fuck.
Hey, real quick, guys, in your opinions, like we all know what the Stanley Cup looks like, you know, the Lombardi Trophy, you know, in the World Series trophy and all this. Which trophy would you rather have? Like, which one is just that magnificent to just hold above your head?
This is easy. It's Stanley Cup. You have to take that shit home and do whatever the fuck you want with it.
Dude, you get pissed in it, man, for all that matters. You know, heck
Dude,
yeah,
exactly.
Stanley Cup, hands down. Stanley Cup, hands down. I'm not a hockey fan.
I'm not either, exactly.
But the Stanley Cup, definitely. So now let me ask you guys a question. So now I know, Jesse, you're really into music.
Yes.
All right. So, and Jay, I don't know too much about you right now, but I'm hoping that you're into music as much as Jesse and I are. So
I definitely listen to some music.
You're a baseball player or you're an MMA fighter. What is your walk-up song?
Oh, this is an impossible question to answer. This is really an impossible, because if you think about it, there's like 20, like if I could have a DJ just make a mixtape with like 20, and each song plays like 30 seconds. I mean, and that's the funny thing with Jesse and I, when we start the show, sometimes we kind of go back and forth about the music that's going to be played. Because sometimes the music to start the show is like, you get fired up. Shit, it's time to do the show. So, and it's the same for a fighter or an athlete when they come out, you know, that shit gets them fired up. But with all that bullshit said, I'd probably want to go like as old school as possible and go to the fucking Rocky music. Because, I mean, whenever I hear the Rocky music, it just gets me fired up.
How about you, Jesse? Man, what's yours?
Man, you know, a buddy of mine, we actually talked about this a while back, and he got me thinking. Now, I don't know if I can exactly name off a song, but I know that it would have to be in the metal type music. And what I was thinking is something from Pantera.
You gotta go Walk. That's gotta be
Walk.
Walk.
Yeah, that's a pretty good pop. That's a pretty popular one.
Yeah.
Another popular one is Snap Your Fingers, Snap Your Neck by Prong. It's got that sweet bass riff.
What would be yours, since we're on the topic?
Dude, you know what? I'm about to blow your minds. Because I am into the mental game. I am all about getting into your head. And whether it be good or bad, or if you think I'm a badass or you think I'm some weirdo, my walk-up song would be Barbie Girl by Aqua. Because I'm out there, those guys are out there in the infield, and they're thinking of what kind of guy I'm in. I'm already into their head. So it's going to be something along that line.
Something different.
That would definitely
different.
mess with me. You know what? Okay, speaking from like an MMA standpoint, like if I come out to Pantera Walk, and then my opponent then follows me out with Barbie Girl by whatever that. What was the group again?
Aqua.
If you follow me out to the cage or ring, playing Barbie Girl by Aqua, it's definitely going to throw me off my game. I'm going to say that right now. It would throw me off my game.
Exactly.
For sure.
But you know that fighter has to be a badass to choose such a dorky song like that. You know, I mean, that is one confident fighter or baseball player if they have a song like that.
He doesn't give a fuck about the music that they play.
You know what's funny about walkout music, now that we're on this kind of topic, a lot of fighters I see, they have a song playing, but yet they have the iPod earphones in and they're listening to something else.
Yep.
That's weird, right?
Isn't that throws me off, and I'm just a fan watching. I'm like, wait, what is he? He's got this song playing for everybody to hear, so what is he really listening to? You know?
Maybe they're listening to, like, you know, biblical passages.
It could be, you know. He's got like, you know, he's got like the book.
He's got his screen
narrated by Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, we had a player this year, Sam Kaiser. His walk-up song was Carly Rae Jepsen, "Call Me Maybe."
Wow,
that's hilarious.
It is hilarious. But you know, it also would depend on my name too. You know, I mean, I'm into the nickname deal, so I mean, if my last name is Hansen, well, it's pretty obvious it's going to be Bob. You know, and so you know, the name has a lot of play into it as well. You know, as far as I'm concerned.
If your last name is Jackson, do you do a lot of? It's like you can pick from any of the Jackson 5, or the actual Jackson 5, or like
Sergeant Jackson by Outkast. You know.
Oh, see, that was good.
Oh yeah, and I'm all about getting into the other player's head, and so you know, and I've worked with the Volcanoes stadium address announcer about getting music into the queue, like when we choose the opposing team's walk-up songs. And it's simple, you know. You got a player named Jones. You know, I think that's easy. You know, it's beat Mr. Jones. If you got a guy with a Disney name, then you give him some princess theme from one of the Disney movies. And so, you know, it's all about the mental edge. And I think that gets into their head a little bit.
It would bother me. I mean, I don't want like somebody, you know, walking out and playing like, you know, A Whole New World or something from the Aladdin soundtrack. You know what I mean? So it would be a little weird. It would be a little weird.
I like that. So he comes up to the cheetah girl.
There you go.
All right, Norm. Before we let you go, brother, go ahead and give us your keys to winning the World Series for the Detroit Tigers, and then give me the keys for winning the World Series for the San Francisco Giants.
All right, so the keys for the Tigers. The keys for the Tigers is they've got to get Cabrera and Fielder hitting the ball. They've got to get Jackson on base, move them around. Verlander and Fister, they're at least going to, you know, pitch twice if it goes 7. So it's obvious that the Giants have already lit up Verlander, so you know, Fister will have to step it up. I think the Tigers have to win Game 2 tomorrow. They will be going home afterwards. The Giants aren't too bad on the road, but they also have Kane and Lindstrom still to come. I believe Vogelsong is pitching tomorrow night. As for the Giants just, you know, keep being that scrappy team. Hitting the ball, scrappy. You got to get Posey going. And get into that Detroit bullpen and let them self-destruct.
Very nice.
With that said, I still think, you know, my heart's telling me to go Giants, but you know, with Verlander, Cabrera, and Prince, I mean, it's really hard to go up against those guys. I mean, Cabrera had a monster season, and Verlander, you could possibly say he's the best pitcher in the major leagues right now. I mean, King Felix will have something to say about that up in Seattle, but he's top 3 at least. And Lincecum has fallen. Kane is up there as well, but I don't think Kane is at that level as a Verlander right now. And so Verlander's got a bad taste of what happened in 2006 when he was a rookie, when he pitched up against the St. Louis Cardinals. So I don't think the Tigers are going to allow that to happen again. They played shoddy defense, and they didn't have the pitching.
Very nice.
So hey, Norm. That said, Jesse, I will hook you up. Giants win the World Series. Count on it. I will get you tickets to see that World Series trophy.
That's beautiful, man. See, now I'm kind of rooting for San Francisco because I want to see this trophy. I want to go and look at it and take pictures and. All right, hey Norm, again, man, thanks for coming on and filling us in on some Major League Baseball news and action, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Go Giants.
All right, man. Later, Norm.
All right, thanks a lot, guys.
It is just super baseball knowledge.
You know what? Norm says he's a baseball geek, and that could very well be true.
No.
But the man knows his stuff. And that's why I am glad he has been on the show to help fill us in because, we've talked about it before. I don't really, I don't enjoy baseball really all that much. World Series time, I kind of get into it a little bit. I like to know, who's the better team, what's going on.
Yeah, you want to know what's doing.
But my gut instinct says that the Detroit Tigers overall are the better team, and they will pull this out, and they will win the World Series. And but you know what? Norm says, hey, if the Giants win, I get to go see this World Series trophy. Yeah, and so I'm kind of psyched. Cool. Now I'm torn.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. In Grizzly Stadium, they let you get 3 seats next to it. Pretty cool. All
right. Well, hey, another topic I wanted to bring up just real quick because it's kind of fresh on my mind. It's something that I really value the great athletes in this world. The Muhammad Alis, the Michael Jordans. I'll even throw a little bit of LeBron in that, in Kobe. I like to watch these guys, and right now I think in a scope there's a lot of weird things going on with this man. His name is Lance Armstrong. Now, Jay, I'm sure you've heard from news and stuff that Lance Armstrong's being stripped of his Tour de France titles. He got caught doping or whatever. Everybody's got a little fill-in to say. I just wanted to talk a little bit about it, just because we are That Other Sports show, so we talk about other sports. I just wanted to bring up Lance Armstrong a little bit, and I wanted to get your opinion on it because this is a pretty widespread, thing, and it seems like it goes really, really deep into not just your baseball, your football, your MMA. Now, we're talking about bicyclists here. Doing whatever it takes to maintain a top-tier, elite level. How do you feel about Lance Armstrong? He got caught cheating. Back then, though, probably everybody was doing it. Is that, how do you feel about it?
It's a touchy subject, and to be honest with you, of all things in sports that I don't care about, this is one of them. But, with that said, I definitely got an opinion on it. Now, Lance did, great fucking things. You know what I'm saying? Won all these titles and shit. Who knows if he was doping? Who knows if he's not? People were snitching, saying they saw him shoot a needle in his ass. People, there were stories up and down and across the board. I'm not too sure, what was honest, what wasn't honest. At the end of the day, it's all on Lance. That, at the end of the day, it's all on Lance. Whether he was bullshitting, whether he was online, it's all on him. He made a shitload of money. If that, me, at the end of the day, you and I always talk about one thing, and if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. So, he made a shitload of money, in between the Nike stuff and the wristband stuff, and the movies, and all the extracurricular shit. He made a lot of money. Do I think he cheated? Probably. It seems like everyone was cheating. You know what I'm saying? It seems like everyone was cheating. And it just goes across the board, from football players to baseball players to fucking basketball players. And now people on bikes, you look at the Balco thing and shit like that. People were fucking cheating across the board. The drugs were the drugs were above the test at the time. You know what I'm saying? The drugs were, however they were doing them, synthetic and Lord knows whatever the fuck they were. The shit was basically untouchable, and you know, guys profited big time. Whether it was fucking athletes, whether it was fucking teams, whether it was fucking everybody across the board. These steroid companies, you know, alcohol and shit like that. Across the board, they all made fucking money, man. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. But with all that said, you know, Lance is a fucking man. Bottom line, Lance is a man. He made a shitload of money, and that's it. That's fucking, he did his thing, whether he cheated or not. Hey, that's on him. There's something I can say. There's something I can do. And, you know, that's I can say next time. Okay. You know, and he did it. He did his thing. Whether he cheated or not, clearly, he was fucking thing he did. I don't know, man. If he did it,
well, no matter whether he cheated or not, which most likely I'm going to lean towards he did, because he was in the era of that. He was in the era of that kind of thing, you know. He was in the era of taking the steroids and doing all the stuff, you know what I mean? Like, it was from football to apparently cycling. That's just what happened. That's what they did, you know, to get that edge, to get the, you know, to stay elite. And
yes, go piss down, go. Go ahead. Yeah.
Anyway, so.
Are you losing me here?
No, I got you. All right. So as far as Lance Armstrong goes, I can't feel sorry for the guy, because everybody that's getting busted for PEDs and any kind of roiding of any kind of medicine that they're taking that they're not supposed to take, everybody's getting busted and they're all getting handed down fines. They're all, you know, getting stripped of something, suspended of some kind. I mean, that's just kind of what's going on. So I don't really feel sorry for the guy as far as what's going on. I do know, though, that for whatever reason that he did work really hard to get those titles. And he had a little bump.
Go in the house now.
He had a little bump, I get that. But you know, I think that for him it was just the era that it was in. That's what was going on. But I don't feel bad for him, because he did make his money, and you're right, we talk about it all the time. When it comes down to it, we don't work for fun. We do it for money. You know, we do it to live, pay our bills, whatever. You know, that's what he was doing.
It's about the bread.
It's about the money.
It's all about the bread, and he made a shitload of bread. And that's why he rode the fucking bike at the end of the day, to make a shitload of bread. He was, you know, the biggest bicycle star of fucking all time, right? I mean, shit. Jesse, you with me? Jesse, am I with you?
Yeah, I'm with you. You know what?
I gotta be honest with you. My kids are starting to come out inside and invade the podcast.
You know what's really funny?
And I'm literally going in and out of my mind in like the last 4 minutes. Go ahead.
We literally have children invading that other sports show as
This is terrible. My kids are not listening. You know what I'm saying? This is just one of those situations where the sports show is going to become a parenting show. I'm going to take my belt off and whoop the little kids out.
Man, they really love this show.
The kids love this show, right? They want to be on it really bad. So, I'm going to fucking accommodate it. Our kids just blew the entire Lance Armstrong thing.
All right, yeah. So, you know,
I love it.
Okay, that basically right there. Well, besides Jay's kids, that was our 2 cents. That was our 2 cents on Lance Armstrong.
And we're doing a live show.
It is. It's a live show. We can't do anything about it. So hey, you know, roll with it. You know, this is why you guys love us. This is why you listen. Okay. Next thing.
Hold on. Long story short, Lance Armstrong, a real motherfucker, made a shitload of money. I ain't hating. Jesse's not hating. Did he cheat? Probably, but we really don't.
Yeah, you know what? And the same thing, Barry Bonds cheated, McGuire cheated. I mean,
that was my point. Every athlete in this fucking in the 90s cheated. They beat the testing. They figured a way out to beat the fucking system.
Exactly. They beat the system and they made some money doing it. Eventually they got caught, but let's face it, man, Lance Armstrong's like a 50-year-old man now. He doesn't care. He's not cycling professionally anymore.
He doesn't make money on bikes.
Even the last few races that he had, he didn't do well anyway. So he was getting beat by all the younger kids anyway. So, hey, take your money. It's unfortunate that you got caught and you got all your titles stripped away, but you know what? You still have some money, and you still got people out there who's backing you. So, take it and leave it, man. Moving on, we're going to try to... Jay, let's hit a little bit of NFL stuff real quick. We got...
I think my kids are inside the house.
Okay. Let's hit some NFL stuff.
Did you hear me yelling at them, or was I going...
No, we totally heard you. We totally heard you yelling at your kids.
God damn, why is my mute button not working? Hold on, I'm going to tell my mute button again. Can you hear me or no?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Why is my mute button not fucking working? This is terrible.
We're having technical difficulties, malfunction.
Oh, we'll do it live. This is what happens when you do a live show.
This is what happens when we do live. All right.
I'm going to try this again with this fucking Bible. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
What the fuck? Why was it when I was using this mic last week, you could not hear me when I went to mute, and now you can hear me when I'm yelling? I'm yelling at the producer.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, everybody, is that when we were being produced, they were supposed to help us out this way too, and now we're producing ourselves. And
we're fucking up. And obviously, I'm not learning how to use the Skype mute button.
By the way, your kids sound pretty happy.
Dude, all he's doing is just coming out, talking shit to me, and closing the door. That's literally all he's doing. Hey, so it's time for us to get Chris on. We're about to get Chris on. Is he calling in?
Nah, Chris is going to be calling in here pretty soon.
Are you texting?
Yeah, I got Chris. Chris is going to be on the line here in about 10 minutes.
Do we have to call Rudy, or how is this?
You know what? Rudy actually is going to have to call in himself. Unfortunately, that's kind of see, people, we do this all through Skype to try to give you guys the best volume, the best sound. But if no one else has Skype, then we can't get them in, so they got to call. But you know what? That actually cancels out the fact that we're dialing all the time.
What's the number? Do you want to say the number on there? Or?
Yeah. For anybody who's listening,
I'm texting Rudy right now.
All right. This goes out to anybody who's listening and wants to call in, and this is also going to Jay, so he can give it to our friend Rudy Cruz, a professional MMA trainer who's going to be calling in on the show here in a little bit. If you want to call in and talk to us, the number is 1-323-679-0802. If anybody wants to call in and give us some Dr. Drew tips on kids, you can do that as well.
No, don't do that. Don't judge me, motherfuckers. You know what's so fucked up? Is how many times has that happened to me since we've done this show? That has to be the third time.
I always thought it happened to me more, but...
It might be like the fifth time. The kid's looking through the show, and my kid holding her crotch, telling me she's got to pee. Well, then go pee. Why do you got to tell me you got to go pee? Just fucking 5. Don't tell her go pee. This is why any of our young listeners... This is yeah.
So, folks, while Jay is doing this, I'm going to let you know that second half of the show, if we can fit in a little bit of football talk, we will. Otherwise, we'll have Mr. Chris W. Power on once again, and he will be discussing with us some MMA stuff. We're going to talk about Chael Sonnen versus John Jones. We're going to try to talk a little bit about the next upcoming UFC event, and to also help out with that talk on MMA, we're also going to have, as I mentioned before, professional MMA trainer of the UFC's UFC heavyweight LeVar Johnson, Mr. Rudy Cruz, who just so happens to be a good friend of Mr. Valdez. And Rudy likes to come on. He tells great stories, and I want to know what's going on with LeVar's camp. And of course, we want ideas and thoughts on Chael Sonnen. Does he deserve this title shot? Does he not? After all, the show is titled One for All and One for All and Chael for All. So it's kind of
there's going to be a lot of Chael talk.
There's going to be a lot of Chael talk, and that's kind of how I wanted it to be.
That's kind of how our MMA talk always ends up.
Exactly. And if anybody else has any comments or questions about anything, go ahead. I just gave you the number. Call us. Besides that, if anybody calls us or if they tweet us anything about the show, you can even tell us, hey, you guys need to pull your shit together because you guys are fucking up. You know what? If you tweet that to me right now, I'm going to take your address down and I'm going to send you a T-shirt.
You'll get a free shirt. If you tweet us and tell us our show is going horribly, you're going to get a free shirt.
Exactly, because we don't hate on that. But you know what? You call us right now.
We want constructive criticism to our Twitter because you're listening to me, not Jesse, me, even my kids, because they're a little bad at me.
But anyway, we'll have Mr. Power on here pretty soon.
But one thing I wanted to say about Rudy. So this dude has got here's what I was thinking. I don't want to say this about Rudy. Here's what I was thinking. So we've had 2 MMA fighters on our last few shows. Those shows were while we were on the other network. And both those guys won. Chaz came on and he won. And then we had Brandon Cash come on. Brandon Cash won in the first round via knockout. Yeah. So we have a history of having guys on and they win. I think it's very rare that we've had a guy that's come on and lost. We even had LeVar come on and then win via knockout, Big LeVar Johnson. So we've got a pretty good history of having guys come on and win. I don't know if have we had any guys come on our show and lose?
You know what? Speaking about Mr. Rudy Cruz, Rudy's actually on the line right now. So Jake, can I take Rudy?
Please do. Hello?
Hello? Hello?
There it is. Hello? There you go. Mr. Rudy
Going out,
Cruz.
fellas?
Rudy, we're putting you over right now. We were just talking about how the last time we put you on, Brandon Cash also was with us. Went on to a huge victory, first round knockout in like a minute or some shit like that.
It was, you know what? You went about 26 seconds too far.
My bad.
Yeah, it was a 34-second knockout. My buddy Brandon Cash, my fighter, man, went out there and just took care of this. Just absolutely plowed through this guy. Just plowed through him. The guy was undefeated fighter, 4-0, 2 knockouts, 2 submissions. He was feeling really confident. He was a little cocky at the weigh-in. And the very first exchange, Cash put him on his knees, and he got up, and it was just a hellfire and brimstone for that guy after that.
Rudy, how funny is it? I was just telling Jesse, the last 2, I think 3, possibly 4. I think it was 4, definitely, with Jessica. Fighters that we've had on the show have all won. You know, however, they've all won. We have nothing but undefeated fighters on our show. Give me your take. Should we bring more of your fighters on? Is my next question.
Oh, we need to bring every one of them on.
And keep that undefeated streak going.
You guys are taking up half the year, man. My roster's getting kind of big. It's like that's good. I'm blessed, man. I'm a lucky man. I've been, I guess was going to the UFC, a couple times and, having some positive feedback finally from the media. I'm getting a few extra people that are coming down and training with me, and that's a good thing. That's positive.
So the last time we hung out, UFC 153, is that accurate? Was it 153, 152?
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about that show because we haven't had you on since then. Talk a little bit about the Nogueira fight. Definitely talk a little bit about the Anderson fight while we're waiting for our other buddy Chris to get on. Let's talk a little bit about the fight.
Starting with the Nogueira fight, every time, and you and I feel the same way every time we hear his name thrown in the line, it doesn't matter against who. We start biting our nails. We start biting our nails because we get a little stressed out. That's one of our favorite fighters of all time, and, we don't want to see him hurt. But on the same note, if you can pull off submissions against guys, that
that you're relatively supposed to submit, you know, how much actual glorification is that at the end of the day, you know, for your rankings and your positioning as a fighter. But you're back to being a fan first. I don't want to see Nogueira fight no more.
You know, Rudy, I think Jay and I both talked about it a few times. There's a few different fighters out there. I know for one particularly for me is Vanderlei Silva, but Big Nog is another one where every time, like you said, it's just like biting. It's like eating nails. You know, it's like nail on the chalkboard or whatever you want to call it. Like when they come out to the cage and fight, you know. And Nogueira, I think, definitely needs to just kind of walk out into the sunset on this fight. I mean, it's not like Herman was, you know, supposed to win this fight or anything, but I mean, it would be a worse scenario to have Big Nog come up and challenge another younger, bigger, stronger fighter, you know, or, you know, and take another loss, kind of like he did to Kane, you know, instead of just taking this victory and just kind of going out and just, you know, saying, hey, look, I'm a legend. I'm going to just walk out and do this right now.
Rudy, how bad was the shit talking that night towards Nogueira's weight?
Nogueira, what was that again?
How bad was the shit talking everyone was doing in regards to Nogueira's weight?
Oh, Nogueira looked actually fresh off of a barbecue. A little like
he came from watching Sunday football.
Jay, you're breaking up really bad, brother. I can barely hear you. Echoing.
How about now? Is that better?
There we go.
All right, you back?
Yeah, we're back.
So Nogueira came to our Sunday football barbecue and ate a bunch of chicken wings and drank a bunch of beer and ate like a big old plate of rice and looked fat.
Yeah, he looked a little extra tubby that night.
It was bad. And everybody noticed. It's funny because we mentioned it on the last podcast, but like as Nogueira was walking to the ring, everyone in your house, we had a few guys, was like, man, it's fat.
Yeah, he looks a little overweight. But you know, it just befuddles me how. I mean, of course we know he has great jiu-jitsu, but it just seemed like Herman just, you know, gave up once Nogueira was there. It just seemed like, you know, the setup for the submission, and everybody knows this, is, you know, once you're on the mount, it's to just throw straight punches. People are going to guard their face in one position, and that's with the elbows in the air. You know, you're basically, and your hands on your ears, and you're basically giving up the arm at that point from either side. And Nogueira just flipped his arm in really easy. Once it was in, he just kind of sat there and let Nogueira submit it. I guess his will was broken. You know, it's the same as a fighter whose will is broken and who just stands there and takes punches after a while, I guess.
Rudy, there's reports now that Nogueira fought that fight with a broken rib. Did you read that?
Well, this is the first I've heard of that.
Yeah, there's reports that Nogueira won with a broken rib, and that's why I understand that his camp was so emotional.
Wow.
Give your thoughts on that, if that's true.
You know, if that's true, you know, it's just more greatness of Nogueira. But, you know, I don't know, man. I kind of find it hard to believe. As smooth as Nogueira was moving around, man, you know, I mean, and you know, catching a submission and rolling the way he did and having the armbar, if you have a broke rib, that is very, very hard to do. And, you know, Nogueira, everybody, almost everybody complains, win, lose, or draw, about their injuries after the fight. And Nogueira said nothing.
Hey, fellas, we got Chris Power on the line now.
Uh-oh.
Hey, Chris.
This is an official MMA roundtable.
It is. Chris, did you hear anything about Nogueira being injured at all after the fight was over?
No, I didn't hear that. I always figured it was some sort of, I thought they were trying to say that he ate a giant bucket of barbecued ribs before he got
You know, I think he did. He went to famous days and stocked up.
I'm telling you, he came to the Sunday barbecue where you were watching football, we're eating wings, we're eating everything, we're terrible.
Maybe it wasn't that he had a bruised rib or something. Maybe it was that he had too many ribs.
Oh.
They just said that he broke the rib record. It's not that his ribs were broken.
He didn't break his rib, he broke the rib record. Holy shit.
That's cold. I'm sorry, Nogueira.
You got you guys all on the fucking horn now. Let's get to the fucking meat of the potatoes. Sonnen Jones. Rudy, you gave me the heads up, I don't know when, like a week before it was announced. I thought you were just bullshitting me. And here we are. Sonnen's going to fight Jones. Give me your take, Rudy.
Man, well, you know how I feel. I always like Chael. I always like Chael because he's a gamer until he's tested. Now, in the last few fights, we've all seen Jones go through a little more. People are figuring him out. Little by little, people are actually figuring him out because people have been getting to him a little more, whether it's on the feet and it's on the ground. We've just seen Vitor slap an arm, almost beat him. We actually seen Rashad catch him with a few kicks. Rashad actually caught him with a head kick. And before that, Machida actually touched him up with a few punches standing. So people are starting to figure that puzzle out. That being said, I don't think Chael has more than 2 rounds of fighting. Now, Jay, me and you have talked about this. We've talked about this. You think Chael is done in 1. Now, I could make a shirt and walk that around and probably sell him. Chael is done in 1. But I don't think it's going to happen. Really? I actually think he gives Jon Jones a lot of trouble in the first round because whoever comes out and just puts it in Jon Jones' face and gets in his chest right off the bat. Yeah. Who does that? Nobody's done that.
That's going to be the real, probably the most.
And that's where he's going to give Jon Jones problems because Jones is like a good boxer, a great boxer. Like, we'll put him up there with the relaxed guys of Ali and Jones who don't like being pressed, who like setting their pace on their own. Now you're going to look at that. You're going to look at that, and once Chael's in his chest, Styles makes fights. Not saying he's going to beat him. I'm saying he's going to give him a lot of trouble. First round, Jon Jones makes an adjustment in the second round. I think Jon Jones submits him with a Kimura. I'm calling it now. He's got Kimura Americana, second round.
If he pulls that out, we're pulling the field. Chris, give me a thought on this.
That's an interesting pick. I'm trying to think of what. So Rudy, tell us more about this narrative of the first round that Sonnen's surviving. Is that on the feet? Is that against the cage? Do you think Sonnen can take him down?
I think it's dirty boxing and on the ground. You had a guy. Bro, I've been there. I was in Chicago and I watched live when Chael fought his team. And I watched Chael cut weight. I was downstairs working out and Chael's down there cutting weight and the guy walked in 18 pounds, bigger the days, like 2 days before. He walked in like 18 pounds bigger than he was supposed to be. And, I watched him cut down the weight, and he got to the 85, and that's hard. And he's a big dude. You see him on Fox, on the FX show that they got, and, he's a big guy. And he's not a small guy in person. So when a guy doesn't have to cut weight like that, man, and he's used to grinding, he's going to have a little more actually get-go because he's going to be more hydrated, have more energy in his body. The way he carries it into an actual fight is different than the way he carries it into the gym because your sharpness is different. When you can walk around and be good at 180, at 205 in the gym, but you're a little sharper once you're at maybe, once you get to the 185, of course you're going to fluctuate back up to 210, 215. But getting at a certain weight and being there, that's what gets you sharp. If it works for you there, it works for you. We've seen Chael at 205 in the past, and he does good also.
Do you think Chael's clearly going to be the smaller dude. He has less reach. He's an older cat. Do you think it'll be more of a, chest-to-chest phone booth against the cage type shit in the first round? Or you think Chael could actually secure a takedown? What do you think happens?
I think Chael runs across the cage, hands up. I think John knows this. Chael's going to do what he can with a few jabs, a few 1-2s. We're going to see a few teeps from Jones, and then I see a body clinch. I don't see a shot takedown. I see a body clinch up against the cage, and I see Chael working him to the ground from there. And then there lies the problem with the first round of adjustment for Jon Jones to make. Second, that's the second that he gets up, I think he's going to stick on him like glue, like shit on glue, stick on shit. Chael's a master at getting to first rounds, If he gets to the second round, he's going to start having problems. As Jon Jones starts making adjustment in second rounds and third rounds and fourth, gets people to stand away from him. He finds his distance and his range, and he starts picking you apart. but I also think he's going to go to the ground again in the second round. But I think at that time, Jones will make transitions and get where he needs to get, and he'll get the position where he needs to finish the fight.
Chris, let's hear your take.
I mean, I almost see things the exact opposite way. I'm going to flip Rudy's script a little bit here, because I think we saw in the Anderson Silva fight, the second Anderson Silva fight, we saw the blueprint on Chael Sonnen. He's a guy who doesn't like taking fire. If you can pepper him with some shots, it'll break his spirit early. And I don't see any reason why Jones. I mean, I understand the difference in weight class. Maybe Sonnen's a little quicker at 205 than he is at 185 compared to Anderson, but I still think John Jones is completely capable of just putting little kicks and jabs and any of these outside style strikes on Sonnen right away, and I think he just breaks down right away. So I actually see this as a pretty quick finish, the same way that we saw against Anderson.
Jesse, let's hear your take.
Well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, before Rudy gets to his next thought real quick, I kind of think more along the lines of Rudy, actually. I think we all know Chael is a grinder. That's his favorite way to fight. He's a brawler. I don't care what Mr. Magalhaes thinks about subbing people off, off Chael's back and all that kind of stuff. The fact of the matter is that Chael is a brawler. He really has nothing specific to his game except for his wrestling. And like Rudy touched on, he will try to get in John Jones's face early. He will try to rough him up against the cage. He will try to keep him posted there, a little bit of dirty boxing. I personally don't think his dirty boxing is as good as the natural Randy Couture's dirty boxing. But again, almost in a way, I don't think that Chael and Randy are comparable in style. Okay.
Both team tough guys, though.
They are. And I know everybody is going to want to say, well, his wrestling, Randy's wrestling. I think that Chael is he's going to come into 205 big, strong, and he's going to be able to push John Jones around a little bit more than most other people have been able to in the past. I thought that Ryan Bader would be able to do it, actually, because Bader's such a big, strong dude. He just came in with a horrible game plan, I think. Chael's, whether people want to believe it or not, Chael's a smarter guy than what he leads on. He's not just a trash-talking, politician. I think Chael is a smart fighter, and that's what's gotten him along in his career as long as he has. I see it being a second, third round. I'm going to say submission from John Jones, but I think the first round is going to be more of a feel-out period for Jones as Chael kind of pushes him, tries to push his weight around on Jones a little bit. I think second and third round, you're going to see John Jones really pick it up and use that Greg Jackson mind frame of switching the fight in between rounds. And he's going to adjust, and he's going to end up finishing him either late second or early third.
All right, so I'll be honest with you guys. I'm in the same boat as Chris. I don't think Sonnen has a round in him with Jones. I mean, Jones is just bigger, stronger. I mean, cuts from like 225, 230 to get to 205. It's just an absolute beast. And as much as I love Sonnen, I mean, we talk about him on the show repeated times. It's funny, Chris, you, me, and Jesse had this conversation, I don't know, 3 months ago, when we were talking about Sonnen potential opponents at 205. And, Jones never came up, or if he did, we just blew it off. Like, it's kind of impossible for him to even be in the same league. So, the way I see the fight going down, I see Chael, like what he said, trying to get in his chest early, making it a phone booth fight. Jones is going to push him off, keep his distance, use footwork, use straight punches, pepper, tag Sonnen early. Sonnen's going to make a mistake. I kind of lean towards what Chris is saying as far as I can see a submission. But I think Jones is looking for a knockout. I think Jones is looking for a legit knockout to make a point. As far as the shit-talking goes and all that, I mean, we all know Sonnen is a world-class shit-talker. But, I mean, Jones fought a dude that was once his best friend. Like, I don't think the shit-talking is going to bother him. I don't think it's going to really get in his head like other people think. Overall, I think Jones ends it in one round, TKO, maybe 3-4 minutes max.
Wow.
Rudy.
Rudy, yeah.
Rudy
wanted to rebuttal. Rudy wanted to rebuttal, so let him rebuttal from like.
You know, I mean, the thing is, man, even Chael lasted even with you know, I mean, one of the best in the world, Anderson Silva, you know, and he lasted around with him, you know, so.
But Anderson doesn't walk around at 220, 230. You know, Jones.
Agreed, and great point. Touché. You know, but it's a different fighter. You know, it's a different fighter, man. It's a different fighter. I just think Chael's just enough of a roughneck to get in his face and give him a fight for a little while. And, you know, that being said, man, you know, I mean, like I said, bro, fight by fight, people are slowly figuring John Jones out.
Rudy, are you leading up to is your boy going to be getting in there with John Jones? When I feel like you're previewing it a little bit. You're starting to diagnose it.
Big LeVar?
Yeah. Jones
man, if LeVar got his hands on Jones and hit him, Jones would, you know, he'd break Jones in half.
How crazy of a fight would that be? You never even thought about that fight. That might
be crazy. LeVar hits way too hard for John Jones. If he puts a hand on him, you know, John Jones is in trouble. You know, if
he takes LeVar down, he'll submit him in 27.
If he takes LeVar down, everybody's been working with, you know, at AKA now, at Dethrone, and at AKA up in San Jose North, you know, so he's been getting a lot of ground game with Cain Velasquez and with DC also, and that's really, and Josh Koscheck and a few other guys, man. It's really been helping him out. You know, you guys going to see, you know, another part of his game evolve if it's needing to come out of the closet.
Hey, before we switch subjects, one random thing I want to throw out, Rudy. Over/under, because Jesse and I haven't played the over/under game. We'll go around the table. Over/under, will Strikeforce be around in October 2013? Rudy, go.
Strikeforce will do one more show. They're going to do the January show.
And that's it.
And I believe that's it. Come on, think about it. And I'll give you a reason why. I'll give you clues. 4 months ago.
Uh-oh.
Dana White was talking about how there would never, ever, ever be a women's female fighter. You know, and then all of a sudden Ronda Rousey, you know, taps the shit out of everybody. You know, now we're starting to warm up to the fact. Now we're starting to say, if there's going to be MMA, women's MMA, Ronda Rousey is going to be the first MMA fighter. You know, and these are quotes from the guy who swore that there was never going to be. You know, you have guys that I personally know in gyms that are being absorbed from the company as we speak. And I don't want to say no names because I don't want to get anybody in any kind of trouble. But people, you know, things are happening already. You know, there's wheels are in motion. You know, things are happening already. People are being absorbed over, and you know, there's certain people that had contracts that were locked, where they couldn't leave, and we all knew about this. You know, there was Amisha Tate that couldn't leave. You know, there was of course Ronda. You know, then you got the champions. You know, you got the Robbie Lawlers. They were stapled. They couldn't leave. You know, they were locked in their contracts, and all of a sudden, you know, Dana is talking about bringing this person and that person over, and certain purpose, you know, people are talking about coming over now, and it just makes it a whole different, you know, it just opens up a whole other page of what ifs. And the what ifs are on the table, man. You know, it's reasonable doubt.
But you're going under. You're going under on the year, though. Like over/under less than a year.
I'd say over the year.
Over a year. So you're saying October 2013?
No, I'm sorry. If it's going over or under a year or do the year?
No, a year.
A year is under.
Chris?
I say under.
Chris?
I hope not. I hope not because you know what people need? A home. You know, you got the fighters that are making their way up. You know, that they need Strikeforce to go ahead and use it as the quote-unquote developmental league, even though I wouldn't see these fighters as developmental fighters. They're great fighters. But they give you a chance of what the big show was like before you get to the real big show.
Well, hey, fellas, real quick, we have a caller on the line. Caller, go ahead and introduce yourself. Caller from the 352. Hello. Oh, caller from the 352 don't want no free T-shirt?
Fired fire Doritos, spicy Doritos. Chris, you get that? Huh? Okay. Yo.
All right.
Chris, so let's keep going. Chris, over under on the Strike Force. 2013
I
October.
figured Strike Force was only going to survive until all the legal dust settled, and Dana's going to fold it. So I don't know the details, but in terms of a brand existing and actually holding fights, I'd say under a year. And I'm going to go one further. I'm going to say Bellator. Is Bellator going to be around for a year?
Oh, they'll be around. Oh yeah, I'll say over. They got.
I'd say over also, but you know what? I got to put a little smidgen on Bellator. And I think me and Jay know why.
I know what's coming.
It's for putting a champion that is a champion that was injured, not on the undercard in their own hometown. And you know, it's not. It's that's horrible. I just the president of Bellator came out and gave a reason why, and you know, I just think it's, you know, you give a champion their just due, whether it's male or female, you give them their just due. You let them go out there and fight. You know, if not the co-main or the main, you let them be on the card. At least let their family be able to see him. If their family's can't be there, at least their friends can see him on TV. That's just a smack in the face.
And Rudy, let's give her due, right? We're talking about Zoila, Gurgel, Zoila Frosto. We're talking about Zoila. You guys know the long story short. She was supposed to be on the television show. She was promoted on the card as being on the main card. She got bumped to fucking the pre-show. The dark matches. Rudy, go right ahead. Finish.
You know, there's a lot more into it. You know, you go to your sponsors and you let them in. You're telling them, I'm going to be on MTV too. I'm going to need to charge you this much more because I'm going to be on national TV. People in Brazil and Mexico and everywhere are going to see this. And then you go and you have this happen after you're paid that money already. You know, you have to go back to your sponsors and explain this. The next time you try to fight again, the sponsors are going to be a little hesitant to give you that kind of money, you know, and help you out. And that's what fighters and their trainers and stuff like that, we depend on that kind of stuff. You know, those are little extra perks, man, that help us when we get home to take our family somewhere or to fix our cars or you know, to put money away, whatever it is, you know. And it's stuff like that ends up getting a black eye on that.
Rudy, you heard of this fighter, the UFC fighter, whose name escapes me, maybe Justin, you can help me out. He got burned by a sponsor, and he went on Twitter and just started talking mad shit about him, and then 1,000 people retweeted it that this sponsor won't pay me. Who was it?
It was Patrick Cote.
Yeah.
Yep. You know, and that kind of, you know, that hurts, man. That really hurts. Sponsors, you know, they pay you, they put their name out there, you know, they feed you, they do whatever they do, and, you know, then, you know, it's like this, you feel gypped. You know, you feel gypped.
Jesse, to bring it back, over under Strike Force, 1 year.
Oh, way under. I fully agree with. I believe it was Rudy said that January card, if they even can put it together in time, that'll be their swan song, so to speak, and then it'll be done. I don't know how far the legal matters still are going or ongoing with the whole, you know, contract disputes and everything with Showtime or whatever, you know, that they got going on legally.
I know what's going on. Scott Coker's going to be Dana White's water boy.
Exactly.
You probably shouldn't.
But the fact of the matter is Strike Force hasn't been able to put anything together. They're not stable as a company. And I think when Zuffa went to them and was like, we would like to purchase your company, I think that Zuffa probably gave them a bunch of, you know, pretty thoughts, and, you know, they painted it with unicorns and rainbows and said, hey, you know, we're going to help you guys. But really, when it comes down to it, UFC doesn't want anybody else around to be able to touch them. I don't think that they were ever going to help Strike Force. I think it was basically to give Strike Force enough shows where they can sit back and look on videotape and say, I like this guy, I like that guy, I don't want him, he's too old. No, this kid, he's up and coming. I'd like to, you know, try to work out a contract in the future with that guy. I think that's kind of how it was. So
okay, so let me just jump in here. Long story short, I agree with everybody. I wish, you know, that Strike Force would continue. Because 1, it's been a fun organization. 2, they've had a shitload of fun fights. 3, guys need to get paid. Guys need to get paid to fucking fight and get experience to be able to go to the next level, or go to the bigger shows. That being said, I'm going under. I think they'll do one more show after the January show. You know, it'll probably be on like Showtime 7 or some shit like that. But I'll watch it anyway.
ESPN the Ocho.
Might be on ESPN Ocho. MTV Tres Leches. Might be on that channel. One question I did want to get out, just from the topic, and a quick, easy transition. So over/under for women's MMA, or one. Okay, here's the easier one. 1 woman MMA fight in the UFC in 2013. Over/under 1. Go.
I say under a year.
In 2013.
I think it happened in 2013.
There's at least going to be one. I guess it'd be a half.
I think you know what it's going to be. It's going to end up being Cyborg, 2 fighters. Of course, it's going to be Ronda Rousey. It's going to be Ronda Rousey versus either Chris Cyborg or Misha Tate.
Misha again.
It's going to be one of those two.
Chris, over/under a half a fight, women's MMA and UFC, 2013. Go.
I'm taking the over. I think Dana White is going to cash in on the Ronda Rousey brand by late summer.
Yeah, I agree.
Jesse.
I think maybe sooner, man. I think maybe sooner.
Jesse, over/under 1 women's MMA fight, half. It has to be half to be able to over/under. A half.
I'm gonna go over. I can't honestly see them pulling Rousey and Cyborg or Rousey and Tate and not having at least one other women's mixed martial arts fight on that card. I could be wrong, and I mean, I don't know how Dana thinks. I know that even though he sees a pretty picture with women's MMA coming to the UFC, I still know that it's still a risky chance to take, because there's still not a lot of that well-known talent. You know, there's not a Ronda Rousey, in every state. At least it's not being published.
The UFC does a great job, and that is their job, to go out and find those people once they have that organization, once they actually open that door for women's MMA. That's what they do, and they do it well. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I just wanted to throw that one in.
Sorry to interrupt you, Kanye. What is it? You know what? I'm gonna I'm gonna go under. I don't think it's gonna happen. I think we're gonna have to wait until 2014. I think the send-off show for Strikeforce in like February or March will be Ronda Rousey's last fight, and as far as in Strikeforce, and we're gonna have to wait till 2014. I think we're gonna have to wait till 2014. I think she'll have one more fight in Strikeforce. That'll be in February or March or April, and that'll be the end of Strikeforce. That'll be the end of her run in Strikeforce.
Wow. Well,
the thing is that the UFC does do a great job of finding that talent, and I'm sure that they'll be able to go out. But the whole thing is that the people watching the events, obviously are like primarily men from like 18 to 35 or whatever the the age group is, they're really going to have to try a lot and be really tough and diligent about trying to turn men's heads toward watching the women's fights, other than saying, hey, look, this chick is hot, why don't you take 15 minutes out of your day to watch this fight. They're going to have to really turn that around as far as who's watching the shows.
And Chris, as far as like promotion wise, if the UFC promoted a women's fight, I think it could do fucking phenomenal numbers. Give me your thoughts on that.
I mean, I think you're thinking about mainstream media. Am I right about that? Because I am thinking that as soon as they start, so we've seen little sprinkling of women's MMA on ESPN as kind of a curiosity, but I feel like UFC would add a certain amount of credibility to it. The reason why I was thinking Summer, I mean, I don't think they're going to do too much more with Strikeforce. I think it's a waste of their time. I don't see why they would even why they would bother with it. Basically, I'm just thinking they would just want to bring Ronda in and sort of increase her visibility a little bit, and then I think you're right. I mean, I think they could create a card around the notion of this. Basically curiosity would be aroused, and I think at this point UFC is on big enough. They're on mainstream networks, they're on ESPN and on the Caller and all that, and I think they could create some real buzz about it.
Yeah.
I mean, just imagine if they put the UFC machine behind Ronda Rousey. I mean, they put her on the UFC Insider Show or the UFC fucking Tonight Show, and she isn't even in the UFC. She's not in the UFC. She's living a show.
The Valley Times Square. What the fuck? Come on.
Oh. Hey. One thing I wanted to do. I want to talk a little bit about this UFC on Fuel show from fucking China or whatever it is. There's 2 or 3 fights that intrigue me. DC, I'm very intrigued in regards to these fights. So we'll just do a real quick round table on who do you guys think will win. Stun Gun against Paulo Thiago. Your thoughts, Rudy?
Ooh. Yeah, you repeat that, Jay. You're breaking up.
Okay. We're talking about the fights that are happening in China. UFC on Fuel. Stun Gun against Thiago. Paulo Thiago. Who do you think wins?
You know what, man? It's gonna be a tough fight for Paulo. Because the Stun Gun is awkward. Stun Gun is awkward. That being said, we got a guy traveling to China. That's a trip that I'm pretty sure a lot of fighters don't make, often. So I think it's
Bro, real quick, your phone just went from bad the entire interview to awesome. Heads up. Seriously.
There we go. Is that better?
No, your phone just went from like bad the whole interview to awesome. But go ahead.
Okay, so it really depends on who adjusts with the time slot better. You guys both great athletes on both sides. Stun Gun is awkward, man. He brings it. He's awkward. But I think Thiago's just he hits hard. He's got some great shots, and I think it's going to be an interesting fight, man. I think we're going to see a 3-round fight. I think we're going to end up seeing the Stun Gun taking it home.
Chris, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's a split decision. Split decision win. 29-28, 29-28, 29-28.
Chris, your thoughts on the fight?
Actually, I think I gotta like Paulo Thiago on this. He, a couple months ago, I would have thought that Stun Gun is gonna win with his top position game. He's got fantastic judo, and I'm always gonna pick judo people unless I have a really strong suspicion it's not gonna go his way. But I liked what I saw from Thiago recently with his grappling. He's always had the crazy squirry punching attack, so I think he's going to have a little bit of edge on the feet and hold his own on the ground, whereas I wouldn't have thought he would before, but now it's sort of come around. So I see it as a split decision, close, razor thin kind of thing. But I think his striking will edge it out, and there's going to be a stalemate on the ground.
Jesse, your thoughts?
I got Stun Gun winning by a unanimous decision. I think that his striking has come along a little bit, and of course, having the judo background, I think he's going to be able to keep Paulo. He's going to be able to take him down. I don't think that either man really wants to be on the ground a whole lot, other than just trying to punch someone out. I think on the feet, Dong Young Kim is just his striking style is more crisp, more boxing-like. I think Paulo's squirrely punching style, as Chris so elegantly put it, is not going to be enough to win points. I think the Stun Gun's going to win unanimous decision.
All right. So I think Paulo hits hard, but if he's going to catch Stun Gun, he's got to catch him early, right? Who's caught Stun Gun other than Carlos Condit? Not a lot of guys.
Yeah, you got a great point. You have a great point. That's why I told you he's awkward.
Yeah, I'm gonna go stun gun here. I think he wins via 29-28 or 30-27. He's gonna smother Thiago. He's gonna give him issues. He's gonna make it a phone booth fight. Again, I like to bring that up. I think he wins 2 of the 3 rounds. Maybe not, definitely not easily. It's gonna be a tough fight. It's gonna be a scrap. But like I said, all of Thiago's power is basically him on the outside hitting guys. That's not Stun Gun's fight. Going back to what Rudy said, he's crazy awkward. I like Stun Gun in this fight. Let me talk to you guys about this fight. I love this fight. I know Rudy loves this fight. We got 2 old men just banging it out. Rich Franklin, Kung Lee. Rudy, your thoughts?
Experience.
Kung Lee's got all the experience in the world.
He's just old.
In the world. Come on, man.
He's just old, man. He's just old.
30 Sam Chow fights.
He's just old.
Come on.
Rudy, if anyone's taking on Sam Chow.
Go ahead, Jesse, go ahead. What were you going to say, brother?
You know what? I'm gonna chime in real quick and say that Rich Franklin has the experience in the cage, in the UFC octagon. That is what's going to propel him to a probably unanimous decision. Again, I'm going to go decision win. Kung Lee is awkward. The Sun Shao is going to keep the kicks and everything and keep Franklin away a little bit. But as far as everything else goes, Rich Franklin is just going to be able to overpower him. His striking is better, like as far as stand-up, take away the kicks and everything. But I don't think those kicks are really gonna. They're more of a gimmick to me. I know that they do damage. I don't want to like take that away from him because Kung Lee's kicks do a lot of damage. But we're not talking about an ageless Vanderlei Silva here. We're talking about Rich Franklin. This guy's a gamer and a game planner, and you know for a fact that he's going to come into this fight with the answers already for Kung Lee, and he's going to pull this one out, man.
Jesse just went from chiming in to giving his entire pick, but Rudy, go ahead.
I think Kung Lee is going to get stopped in the second. Late second, early third. The reason being, man, is like Jesse said, Rich Franklin is big. He's a big guy. He's got a lot of experience, and he fucking hits hard. If anybody doesn't think so, man, ask Chuck. You know what I mean? The guy hits hard. He's got heavy hands. And his ground game isn't shabby at all. He can take. I can tell he can take him down and submit him. He's more like George Jail for a long time. Who we all know has great jiu-jitsu. We never seen too many submissions out of Frank. But how many times, have we seen Frank P.O.'d or really overworked besides Anderson? Rich Franklin is a scrapper. Like you said, he comes to fight, he's awkward, and he's got power in both hands. Man. So, he throws that awkward body kick also. It's never really a good head kick, but he throws that body kick over and over and over. Like Jesse said, I agree with him. The kicks are a lot of a setup. If you sit there and it's like Roy Jones, man. If you get charmed by the snake and you're just sitting back and you're watching it, he's going to blast you all day long. But if you get on the inside or you're firing back and you're not charmed by what you see and you're looking at, then you're going to go ahead and be able to get your shots off a little easier. What I'm saying is easier said than done because Kung Lee is no sucker. He's a tough guy. He has a lot of good, straight, awkward, weird shots and kicks to follow. But, he has to really improve what he has because I don't think his hands are going to be a real threat and weapon against Franklin. It's going to be the kicks that Franklin really has to worry about, and that's it. It's when you're a one-trick pony, and we can almost say that, and when you match him up, when you match these two guys up, you break it down, and he's a one-trick pony, and Franklin has a lot more to offer. Not only with what he has in his bag of tricks, but with the experience he brings in.
Chris, jump in here.
So I agree with Rudy to a certain extent. I like Kung Lee's kicks. I thought he was putting combinations together, his kicks with his punches, in his Vanderlei Silva fight that we saw, and he looked like. We were talking about what Nog looked like coming in there as a fat boy. Kung looked like terrible shit. He was getting away with a little bit because his technique is clean, but he's not in good shape, and I just can't imagine him going 3 rounds of full speed fighting with Franklin. So I see this as a situation where Kung wins the first round, the second round is close, and then Kung just has nothing in the third round, and Franklin just pours it on and takes the decision.
Yeah. Well, one thing that nobody's factoring in is Kunley just made a movie. When have you ever seen a fighter just make a movie and then, like, be successful? I think that, like, if the overall record in between, like, boxing and MMA, fighters that have made a movie and then trained and fought well, it's probably like 2 and 26. And I'm including Mayhem Miller in that Here Comes the Boom shitty movie that just came out.
Oh, jeez.
Tommy Morrison. Tommy Morrison was in a movie and then he got AIDS.
Yeah, exactly. He fought Rocky, and you know what? He challenged Rocky and God punished him and gave him AIDS.
Oh, really?
No.
The God, the Rocky.
Oh, man.
Because he goes to his pastor and has the pastor bless him before every fight.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, I'm sorry for following the reference. I love Kunley. If Kunley was actually serious about MMA and trained and was like 7 years younger and didn't have 30-cent shell fights, I'd be like, fuck, this is a great fight. I think Kunley basically has his kicks, a little bit of combos. I think he's got a good. I'm gonna agree with Rudy as far as I think he's got a good 5 to 7 minutes in him, and I think Franklin either takes him down and finishes him with ground and pound, or it goes all 3 rounds, but it's gonna be sloppy. But yeah, I think Franklin's just overall better as far as stand up right now. I don't even know if that's accurate. Shit, I think standing up they might even be equal. But if it gets into a messy fight, if the fight gets using takedowns, shit like that, it's obviously going to be advantage Franklin.
The thing is that Rich doesn't get very sloppy. I mean, I've never really.
Did you watch the fight with Dan Henderson?
Well,
go ahead.
I think for a while there he was getting caught up in these like the whole company man thing, and he started going out there and banging with guys, just kind of throwing punches and a lot and big bunches. And I think that it wasn't really his game. And if you look back, like when he started his career in the UFC and became the middleweight champion and everything, and even past that, even after the Anderson fights, he still really never really allowed himself to get sloppy. He usually maintained. I think he's going to go back to that, and I think he's kind of gotten back to that already, to where he doesn't necessarily want to just go out there anymore because everybody thinks, well, Rich Franklin's old, he's past his prime, so let's just put him in a fight where he bangs real hard, and let's see who wins. I think that against Kung Lee, we're going to see him steady his game. Like I said before, he's going to game plan a lot for this fight because he's going to have to really watch out for the kicks of Kung Lee. But overall, like Chris was saying, Kung Lee's not going to come into this fight most likely in the best shape because I don't think that he takes fighting seriously enough to put himself into that good a shape to come into a fight. I think Rich is just going to manage the fight. He's going to do what it takes to win, and Kung Lee's going to either gas out or worse, he's going to get TKO'd somewhere in the late second round.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Cage generalship.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with Jess. I agree with all of you. That's an overall pick, Franklin over Lee. Unfortunately, I wish Lee came in, in shape. Guys promoting a movie. He's done. So there's one more fight I want to talk about before we let you guys go. It was recently announced. We got Little Nogueira once again stepping into the ring. Who the hell is he fighting? He's fighting
Rashad Evans.
Rashad Evans. Holy shit, that's right. I had it in my screen and I lost it.
You know what? That's a very interesting fight, man. That's a very, very interesting fight. But as much as I want him to win, Rashad's gonna wrestle him to the ground. Rashad's gonna wrestle him to the ground and avoid jiu-jitsu. He's not gonna stand with him. There's a chance that Rashad gets caught and he has the pillow puff eyes, like when he fought Machida. That could happen standing with Nogueira, but I think he takes him to the ground and wrestles 3 rounds out of him.
Chris, your thoughts?
I'm really not sure. I wanted to ask Rudy some follow-up questions because my feeling is that Rashad has evolved as a boxer. I think he's a better boxer now. He's always been a better athlete, and I'm not just saying that because he's black. So not just for that reason. Also true.
I do agree with you in a sense, man. I do agree with you in a sense.
after watching Rashad's last few performances, and I'm not just saying this because he fought John Jones. I was there when he fought, who was it? Phil Davis. I was there, was it Phil Davis? Yeah, I think it was when he fought Phil Davis.
Yeah.
Live. Or maybe it was even a fight before that. Who did he fight before he fought Phil Davis?
Shit, I can't remember.
It was in Chicago. I forgot which one it was.
It was the Davis fight. It was the Davis fight because that was the main event.
Oh, yeah, it was the Davis fight. Okay, he was scared to pull the trigger then, and he couldn't get off. He fought Rashad, and he was scared to pull the trigger and get off. He doesn't have his range the way he did fighting a Chuck, who was at the end of his career when he stopped. Besides that, we haven't seen Rashad put on a real good boxing match besides Tito Ortiz, once again, who's an older fighter. You know, and yes, Nogueira is a little worn, but his boxing is sharp still. That's the one thing that I still know about Nogueira's boxing. It's still sharp, and he throws his combinations well. I have to disagree with you on that one, Chris. I think Nogueira still got the edge on him. Yes, I do agree with you that Rashad is a better athlete, not just because he's black. Better athlete. He is a better athlete. But as good as his wrestling is Nogueira's jiu-jitsu is just as good, if not better, when you match those two up that way. So it's you got to pick your poison. It depends on who puts their hips in a certain position, depending on who's going to out wrestle or get submitted.
Jesse, your thoughts on that fight?
You know what? What I really want to say about this fight is that I am really glad now that Little Nog is not fighting Forrest, because this fight actually, if he is able to win this fight, it actually puts him into another tier, another level of fighter if he can beat Rashad. If he was to go in and beat the crap out of Forrest Griffin, no one cares, and it doesn't do anything for his career. Little Nog he's worn, but I don't think he's as worn as Minotauro is.
Big Nog. Yes,
Big Nog is. Yeah, exactly. So I think if Rogerio can go in there and win this fight, I don't even want to say like decisively. If he can just go in there and if he can just gather a win out of it, he's beaten a top 5-6 light heavyweight, and then that definitely propels him into a different kind of talk later on down the road as far as who he fights next. Now, if Rashad wins, I think that it's going to be like what Rudy was saying. He's going to wrestle him for 3 rounds. He's going to try to win by points. I haven't seen Rashad really be dominant over somebody in quite some time. And as far as Phil Davis is concerned with that fight, I don't think Phil Davis is everything that everybody was talking about back then. So a win over Phil Davis doesn't impress me now, at least. And so a win over Little Nog I still think that would keep him in some sort of top tier fighting. His next fight would be a top guy. But for Little Nog, it would be a huge win.
Let me say this, because I know all of us are Nogueira Brothers fans. How awesome would it be if Nogueira beat Rashad and then somehow fucked around and found his way into a championship fight? Could you imagine
It's hard to tell Nogueira in that, unless he comes out there and if he goes out there and puts Nogueira in 2 pieces, Rashad, gives him 2 pieces of a biscuit, or he goes out there and puts him to sleep with the choke or something, with with some kind of Peruvian necktie, or some kind of nasty guillotine. Then we're talking, contention, but it's hard to spell Little Nog because everybody doesn't know. A lot of people don't know who he is unless you've been following MMA for 5 to 7 years steadily.
Not in Brazil, though. Imagine if that fight happened in Brazil. That would be like a
crowd. In Brazil, it changes the game. Every Brazilian has, more chance to get on the card and have more fame when the fight's in Brazil. I agree. It's a hometown nod.
That being said, I think that Nogueira loses. I think Rashad is going to grapple him. I think he's going to take Nogueira down, not relatively easily, but eventually, and just be able to out-scrap, whether the fight's 3 rounds or 5 rounds. Standing, as much as Rashad's boxing has improved, I don't know if he can stand Nogueira. Nogueira's a fucking beast, man, bro. That's why I think Rashad
somebody's got a plane flying directly over their house.
That's me. They got a private jet flying over their house. They can do a fucking house. Hey, so with that being said, I got Nogueira losing that fight. Nogueira losing that fight. I'm going Rashad decision. Rashad via decision. It's not going to submit. So yeah, Rashad decision, whether 3 rounds or 5 rounds. If it stays standing, Nogueira fucking knocks him out. It won't.
I agree.
Rudy, you were fucking awesome. Chris, you were fucking awesome. First,
real quick.
Rudy, plug your shit. Real quick,
can we talk about the LeVar Shaw fight? Can we get a couple seconds on that?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Rudy.
We've been doing a lot of work, man. I got to say, LeVar's been doing a lot of ground game. He's been working a lot, man. And next week, as a matter of fact, we're taking a trip up north, and we're going to be doing some work with DC, Kane, and Mike Kyle also. So we're going to go get some ground game from some big guys up there. Just sharpen up the tools a little more. He's doing great. The progress was nice, and we're right on track.
And Rudy, 10 seconds or less. Quick pick. Shane Del Rosario is fighting
Pat Barry.
Real quick.
Man, I'm really excited to sit back and watch that, because the thing is Pat Barry's been working with a lot of wrestlers for the last 2 years, man. The only person I think that's ever submitted Pat Barry is Stephen Struve.
Really quick. Who you got?
I got to say Del Rosario.
Boom. Rudy, plug your shit.
Thrive MMA all day long. Brandon Cash, LeVar Johnson, Isaac De Jesus, in this corner cut, Fresno, California, 255-3319. Call me up if you need a cut. Come by to Thrive MMA if you want to get your boxing tight, if you want to get your MMA, your jiu-jitsu right. Come by and come see me. Thank you guys for the show. Big shout out to the show. Big shout out to Jay. Big shout out to Jesse. Thank you guys once again for having me. And Chris, nice meeting you, man. It's been a pleasure sitting here chopping it on up.
How do we follow you on Twitter, Rudy?
Follow me on Twitter at SlickBXR. That's Slick Boxer at SlickBXR. Follow me, man. I take you guys behind the scenes and give you pictures and stuff a lot of the times that a lot of fighters, and I'm sorry, that a lot of the general fans and public don't get to see. And when I'm out doing my work behind stage, wrapping hands, fighting, getting ready, walking fighters to the cage, etc., I'm posting it and doing the best I can. So if you guys want to take a look at a little extra, and then some, take a peek, man.
Rudy, we love you. You guys are our two favorite guests, so we had you on at the same time. We're going to have you on soon to talk more LeVar. There's like 1,000 things that we didn't cover, but again, we're running past time, so good looking out. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, brother. Thanks, guys.
Chris, plug your shit.
Actually, Chris is
on?
He's off. Chris is off. So I don't know what happened. But anyway, I'll plug his Twitter for him. You can follow Chris W Power on Twitter at Chris W Power. Jay always says he doesn't tweet enough. He doesn't tweet a lot, but when he does, it counts. He makes it count. So go follow him on Twitter, Chris W Power.
Chris isn't about volume. He's about just super strong tweets. So he might only tweet 3 times a week. Those 3 tweets, they're fucking choice. Follow him at Chris W Power. Jesse, we did it. We broke the time barrier again. We went over what we were supposed to go over, but obviously it doesn't matter. I locked my kids in my house. We finished the show strong. Give me some love, baby. What are we doing here?
Hey, you know what? We do this. Jay and I actually, we are still in talks about regularly scheduled programming for the show. We're starting to maybe lean towards doing more of a Saturday show and then an occasional Wednesday show. But either way, you're going to hear us multiple times in the month, definitely at least once a week. So keep on the Twitter. You can follow Jay at Valdez spelled backwards, and that is actually literally, it's Valdez, spell it backwards, 559. You can follow me on Twitter at JTT81. We will hit you up with everything that you need to know about the show. And besides sports stuff, we like to generally just like talk a whole bunch about nothing sometimes. So follow us because we're good enough to do that. So, yeah.
Shout out to all of our podcast listeners. We had our best week on the podcast in forever. So we want to shout all you guys out because we know you guys are busy. We know you guys have lives and shit. So shout out to checking out the podcast. Jesse, like we started the show, we got nothing but love for everybody on the East Coast, in the South, in the West. The tone has changed on the show. We're not hating on anybody. We got nothing but love.
Nothing but love, man. And like Jay said, I want to thank everybody for listening because we did. We had our absolute best show on Saturday. It topped all numbers, and we appreciate the love that we get from you guys. And like I said, we have stuff for you guys. If you tweet to us or if you call on air, we have shirts and stuff. We got stuff to give you.
Let's do this. Right now, if you are listening to the podcast and you tweet us, I'm listening to the podcast. Tweet Jesse specifically.
Tweet to one of us. I don't know or care who, but if you tweet to me, I guess tweet me JTT81. Get a hold of me, and then what we'll do is we'll give you a shirt. We'll give you a shirt. For now, man, I'm gonna end this show. Big shout out to Jay. Mr. Jay Valdez is always doing a great job helping me out with the show and putting in all that effort and work. And I'm going to let you guys go on some music. You guys have a great rest of the week, and hope to hear from you guys soon so you can get some T-shirts.